On the night of July 6, 2020, Jorrun released his apology video. He didn't even mean to do it. The reaction was swift and fierce. On July 7, 2020, Jorrun called West to discuss his feelings. This was an hour before the interview with many syllables and was a chance for Jorrun to prepare. Warning: Westmost is kind of a troll in this call. If that is not your thing, please skip this video. The date was July 7, 2020, the time was 12:30 p.m.
You, with everything, that's happened since last night, what's going on in your head right now?
Very nervous about the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I've done everything I can physically and mentally to keep myself calm.
Okay. What do you mean?
I'm not running away, which is something.
What did you do physically?
I did a little exercise. I did a little meditation. I smoked a little CBD.
Oh, okay. What kind of exercise did you do, just out of curiosity?
Push-ups.
Oh, all right. That's good.
I find if I exercise, if I fatigue myself a little bit physically, it helps me with anxiety and stuff like that.
No, that's good to hear. So, were you around when the video debuted, or did you just set it to debut and kind of forget about it? And have you looked at the video? What are your thoughts?
I have not looked at any comments.
Okay.
I've completely isolated myself from anyone online up until about half an hour ago.
Okay. And have you got a lot of messages?
Last I saw, notification was at least 20.
Wow.
So it's a lot, but I'm like, I need to be in the right frame of mind for this interview, because right now the interview is the most important thing, and I don't want to be in any sort of negative headspace where I can't do my best for that.
Yeah. Well, let's after the interview, let's talk about it, because there were some comments made. I know you don't want to read everything, but there were some comments made from some people that you may want to address. So let's do that after your interview. I agree you should be in the right headspace. You did some push-ups. You smoked some CBD. Did you eat a good breakfast? Or I guess it's lunchtime there, huh?
Yeah. I haven't eaten the last 2 days, but don't look at that drastically, because I fasted in the past, so it's a lot easier for me than other people.
Okay. Well, that's good. You should maybe do some content about fasting at some point. I bet people would be really interested in that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, so this interview, what kind of questions are you anticipating being asked? What are the questions that make you nervous, I guess, would be the best question, and then let's work backwards from there.
I think anticipating any questions about me getting aroused by underage girls.
Do you expect that question to come up, and how are you going to answer it?
I do anticipate it will come up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's given me no information. I don't know if it's going to be a half-hour interview or a 2-hour interview. I have no idea the amount of questions.
Well,
I just know that she can
in my experience, you write down 10, 15, 20 questions, and then while you're interviewing, 20, 30 more come up. I've never set a planned time for an interview, but most of mine have gone at least an hour and a half. Now, this is a different situation, and I don't know her interview style, but yeah, it's a good idea not to plan an amount of time that it's going to take.
Oh, I have no plans. This is the main thing for today, and if I have time later to do some laundry.
Okay. So if asked that question, how are you going to respond to that?
I have absolutely got aroused looking at pictures of high school girls.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But that's not what I mean. You know what the question is going to be next, though, right?
Have I pleasured myself?
Sure. Yeah, that's one of them, and your answer would be what?
Yes.
Okay. and then the little girl, I mean, I think she looks about 7 or 8. So you would pleasure yourself to the high school girls, and then you would get to the little girls, hit a like, and then move on to find something else, or that's what the question's going to be. So, but like, why? Let's do the mock interview here. Why would you take the time? Why would you even like something like that while in a state of arousal?
Because in my bullshit thought process, which is exactly what is bullshit, I'll be like, oh, she'll appreciate a like. Oh, isn't that cute? I'm being nice.
Like, so say you had a girlfriend, and she came in, I don't know, she came in unexpectedly to your house, and you were on the TV and you were watching Pornhub, which, totally normal for an adult to be watching that kind of material. But then in the picture-in-picture, you had like Little Miss Perfect or one of those kiddie pageant shows on in a picture-in-picture. And she said, "What are you doing?" And you said, "Well, I was watching some porn, but then I also wanted to give the Nielsen rating to this show, so I had it open in a box on the bottom." Do you think she would believe that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So how believable does that sound to you when you say, "Yeah, I was in the middle of pleasuring myself, but then I saw this little girl and thought, you know what, I'd give her a like." She went out of her way to dress like a genie and do a little dance routine or whatever. So I would probably work on that one, because I don't know if that's going to be sufficient.
That's what's real talk, as Chef says. The problem is, I know I'm telling the truth, but the way things are in the context, it looks like I'm guilty.
Yeah.
And I want to be as honest as possible.
No, that's a good start.
Poured out my blood and, pardon me?
No, that's a good start. So what would be the second question that you were concerned about?
I think that's the main thing. I mean, everything else is going to be humiliating.
There has to be. Well, then that's it. What is your biggest concern at all? Is it that is it further humiliation? What is it that worries you the most? Because you've already done stage 1, which was the apology. So what is it that worries you most about this next part when you're going to get on with mini syllables? And I'm sure she's going to ask you some questions that are hard to answer. And you know that shying away from those would probably be the worst thing to do. So let's ease you into that. So give me some examples of.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Give me some examples of questions that are going to be hard to answer. Are there certain people that you don't want to be addressed, or was there anyone that you feel was maybe left out of the apology that you would want to address with her while talking to her?
I don't think so. Honestly, as far as the work, first, if I can just give you an update. I got contacted by the social worker who's got the master's degree.
Okay.
He talked to me. I just finished scanning his documents and sending it back to them. So I am going full speed ahead ASAP with getting into counseling.
So that was going to be is there going to be, an apology part 2 where you kind of show that, because we discussed it, and a lot of these guys on TCAP would say, well, I was looking into getting therapy, and maybe now I need to. What was the teacher? What was that jackass's name who drove the Corvette? He was talking about, oh yeah, well, maybe this is kind of the kick in the pants I need to push me that direction. But then there's never any follow-up with it. And if you watch, if you watch some of the, the predator catching channels on YouTube, there's one of the guys. God, I can't remember the name of it right now. The dude's name is Neo, but he said, like, you want me to take your video down? Contact me. He gives them all information on how they can seek help in their area, and he says, contact me after and show me proof that you're trying to get help and you're taking this seriously, and I'll take the video down. So what would you want if someone was if, like, say, Mackenzie or Mac and Cheese or Mackenzie Cheese, whatever, if Mac and Cheese were to contact you and say, I'll remove the Google Drive if you do blank. What would it be? Like, what would you be willing to do? Would you make a second apology where you're showing the progress that you're making, or what are you willing? Because that's another question I'm sure you'll be asked is, what is the ultimate end game for you, and how would you like this to end?
I definitely like the idea of an update video sometime in the future saying, I have been getting counseling. These are the steps I've taken. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I would not shy away from that.
Okay. And so, you'd be willing to update the people on your progress as you go through with that, and I'm sure people would appreciate that. What is something that you don't, what would it be? What would make you want to terminate the interview, or what's going to really turn you off if you get asked about it? What's off limits?
I don't think there's anything, which is very easy to say because I have no idea what's coming. Well, not no idea, but I
would think of any.
What she's.
Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
From what she's told me, it sounds like she wants very much to be impartial and fair. It's not a shock interview where she's going to sandbag me. Mm-hmm. She's going to try to be as, let's say, Mr. Spock-ish, even while she, of course, has her own feelings. Of course. I really want to do this. I will tell you, I have been going through thoughts of completely terminating and closing my YouTube account. Mm-hmm. I'm very glad I did the apology, and I'm glad I'm doing this interview. What happens after that, I would wish that it never gets talked about again, but that's not super realistic.
Mm-hmm. So if she asks you...
I would hope that people either leave me completely in my life and hate me or reach out in a practical way.
Mm-hmm. But if she asked you a hypothetical...
Not be prolonged.
If she asked you a hypothetical, like, what would you be willing to do to make this all go away and never be spoken about again? Do you have an answer prepared for that? Because people love asking hypotheticals.
I absolutely don't.
Oh yeah, you gotta get those hypotheticals. That's almost like being asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years at a job interview? You've got to have the hypotheticals ready. So let's test that one. I'm mini syllables. Jorrun, what would you be willing to give in order to make this all go away? If you could snap your fingers, and for lack of a better term, make a wish and make it all disappear, what would you be willing to do?
I haven't thought of that. The main thing I've thought about is counseling so I can change myself. So in future, I treat everybody the way they should be treated. Mm-hmm. Basic human decency.
Yeah, that's not really an answer to the question. That sounds kind of like a canned answer.
I don't have an answer.
Well, that's why we're doing this, Jorrun. That's why we're doing this, so you can come up with an answer. What would you be, if that question is asked, you can't say, well, I'm going to counseling. It really does sound like a canned answer.
I haven't thought that far into the future, Wes.
All right, well, Jorrun,
I haven't thought past today.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this right now. I'm trying to help you out here. So, if she asks you that question, what would your answer be? Because just going to counseling isn't going to make it go away, and any of those other things. I know you mentioned, not wanting to get rid of your YouTube channel, and that's understandable. What is your plan with that? What if that was the hypothetical, Jorrun? Would you, if you knew that deleting your channel would make this all go away, would you do it? Your answer would be what?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
And deleting all and never having another channel, getting rid of the music channel, just completely being gone from YouTube. Jorrun, would you trade that for making this all go away?
That would suck incredibly. I would hate to do it, but I'd do it.
Okay, then let's practice another question. Okay, how about this one? Jorrun, why would you think after the things that you've done that you would be able to come back to a community that actively trolls and hates on people who sexualize children?
I don't think.
You don't think? I don't. What does that mean?
Pardon me.
Like a statement, or?
No. It is, if you already know me.
I don't.
But I don't think that they should want me around or welcome me with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't proved myself to have the right integrity. I have no problem with people who dislike me for the good reasons I've given them to, not trust me.
Okay. All right. And I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you guys are supposed to get on the phone in 10 minutes here. But another question that may come up is now that there are comparisons being made between you and Lauren Armstrong, what are your thoughts on that? And again, I was acting as many syllables when asking you that question.
Wow, I actually have an answer for that one.
Oh, perfect. Let's hear it.
My answer is I want to be as unlike Lauren Armstrong as humanly possible.
Well, let me interrupt you there. Lauren wants to be unlike Lauren Armstrong as well. No one wants to be that.
Correct.
So I would work on that intro a little bit, because saying you don't want, Lauren doesn't want to be a liar. He just needs to figure out why. Lauren doesn't want to be a lot of things. He just needs he doesn't want to smoke. He just needs to blah blah blah. So I would work on that opening a little bit. But yeah, continue. So let's ask the question again. And again, I'm many syllables. Jorrun, now that comparisons are being made between you and Lauren Armstrong, what are your thoughts on that? Looking back at your old content, of course, what are your thoughts on that now?
I think there were times where I was way too close to thinking and acting like Lauren, and I want to do my very best to change and get counseling, and most importantly, not run away from responsibility and to take blame, stuff that Lauren has never done. That's the best way I know of to not be like Lauren, is to admit there's a problem, to face it head on, take responsibility, and do the hard work to change.
All right, and let's do one more before you hop off here to get on that call. Now, you brought up your Christian upbringing in your apology. Can you explain why that was relevant? And do you think maybe any people who identify as Christian or religious in any way would take offense to that?
I don't think they would I haven't contemplated a way that they would take offense to that.
Well, maybe by saying, kind of like how Lauren was raised by Ma, you were saying, I was raised by Christ. So I should have known better. But, maybe some people will look at using religion in an apology video as a kind of a cop-out, or, I maybe feel sorry for me, or you can relate to me because I'm a religious person. And is that going to be your next step? Like, well, I've accepted Jesus or Vishnu or whoever into your life, and now you're going to be this better person. So what would your answer be to that, regarding people and being raised religiously?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask if you thought maybe that wasn't the best idea for the apology video to include that. Or...
Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know. I do dislike people who name check Jesus or anyone else. It's like, see, because obviously the predator is like, no, I could not have done this. I worship blah, blah, blah. But I just wanted to give people my background and how I was taught. And I was foolish to ignore the great advice I was given.
Well, I would ask this: if you were able to ignore that and sexualize high school girls and below, would you say you were ever actually religious, or were you maybe playing religious?
I was. I've changed quite a bit over the past 20 years. In some ways good, in some ways not. But I was very, very super religious up till at least 25, and I still have parts of me that are spiritual. For what it's worth, you personally, I've been praying quite a bit today, yesterday.
Well, that that timeline when you're saying until 20 years ago or whatever, is that going to match up to things that are going to be found online?
Yes.
Yeah. So everyone will see that there was nothing inappropriate or untoward towards women or genie fan fiction or anything like that written prior to kind of when you broke away from your religious ideals and teachings.
Well, the two timelines are exactly the same. So that is absolutely true, because I didn't even get online the first time till 1997, and within a year of that, I was out of the church.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's probably an interesting story to tell all in itself. So maybe you should, consider that in the future for content along with the fasting stuff. And then one last one. What would you rate if you had to rate? Because I've heard this asked before. Looking back over the last 16 hours or so, if you had to rate the apology video, what would you give it today?
I would give it a 9.
Okay. And that's on the scale of 1 to 10?
Yes.
All right.
Now, my original one, without your help, much lower.
Okay.
But the one I put out at the end where I really...
So you really left it all, left it all on the field, like I said. Your coach wouldn't be yelling at you because you left some out there. You put it all on the field.
No.
All right.
Wow, I actually have something to be happy about. Yes, I'm happy with it.
No, yeah, absolutely should be happy about that. And do you have a joke or anything like that to lighten the mood, or if one's asked for it, you have anything at all to give? Because you are a comedian, so
that's a great one. I had 2 quotes, but honestly, I was like, what if I start with a joke and people think I'm not taking it seriously?
I think a joke is a great idea. Do you have one ready?
Okay. I was going to do 2. I was going to do what should happen to me, maybe sent to an island.
Oh, that's perfect. What's the other one?
Because I love Anthony Palumbo. If she says how I feel, I go, I relax.
I say you open with the Anthony Palumbo and close with the sent to an island.
Okay.
I think you're ready. Now get out there and play ball.
Yes, Coach.
All right. Yeah. We'll let's plan to talk after to see how you feel after the interview, and then get on with your day and work on those improvements.
Thank you, Wes.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right.